What's up guys, how you doing? Welcome to another video. Today we're talking about backing up your photos. Well, not just backing up your photos, it could be backing up your photos, your video footage, whatever it might be. And actually this video is inspired by a story of a friend of mine, JD, who runs a channel called The History Underground. If any of you guys know that channel, you might be aware that recently he was the victim of a theft. Unfortunately, they stole all the contents of his car, which included his equipment, his hard drives, and all of the footage that he had spent days, weeks recording. Really, devastating loss, and bearing in mind he had travelled abroad to film that footage. Losing the cameras and the equipment was tough. But losing that footage, I think, was the piece that was the most heartbreaking for him. And it really got me thinking about backing up your gear. Now, I try to follow a fairly thorough process when it comes to backing up my photos and my footage. But you know what? We all have flaws in our process. So I thought I would make a little video sharing with you some of my thoughts on backing up gear, giving you ideas of the ways you can do it, and also the ways you can do it at the different stages. Hopefully things that could avoid you being the victim of something like JD. Maybe something JD could do next time to try to avoid it from happening. Sometimes these things are unavoidable. You can follow every precaution and something just goes wrong. But fingers crossed, by following these simple steps, it will reduce the chances of that happening for you. Before I get into it, going to ask you guys to do all the usual YouTube stuff for me. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, comment below and let me know your own tips with backing up your footage in case there's something that I've missed that might help out somebody else. Okay, first things first, and a fairly easy one. I'm going to say, if you can, try to use a camera that has dual memory cards. For example, my 1DX right here, you guys can see, I think it has 2 slots for memory cards right here. Every time I take a photo, that photo is recording to both of those 2 memory cards. If for some reason I do get a memory card that goes wrong, hopefully the other memory card is good to go and it means I haven't lost the photos on that card. Now, of course, not every camera has dual cards, but that's something that I factor in when I'm buying a new camera. Going forwards from this point, now that all my cameras have dual memory card slots, I would not buy a camera that doesn't have dual memory card slots. Now, if you're shooting video, it's a bit different because in a lot of cases you can't record the video to the 2 cards at the same time. But certainly for photography, something that is a massive advantage now, and something that I wouldn't go without now that we can have 2 memory card slots in each camera. Okay, so maybe you've got a camera that just doesn't have the 2 slots, or maybe you are shooting video. You've only got 1 memory card slot to work with. Well, I used to have that. I used to use my Canon 7D, the Mark I, which only had 1 slot. So what I used to do was I would get myself a load of the memory cards, which were 8 gigabytes in size. Rather than getting these massive cards, 128 gig, stick it in there, you can shoot all day. But yeah, that's right, you can. But you know what if that memory card gets corrupted? You've lost your footage, your photos from all day. So instead what I used to do was get smaller memory cards, 8 gigabytes each, and I would rotate them in and out of my camera all the way through the day. That meant at the end of a typical game, maybe a tournament, a big event, I've probably got 4 or 5 memory cards worth of photos. Now, if one of those cards corrupted, it would still be devastating, of course, but at least it wouldn't mean that I'd lost everything. It would only be 1 of maybe 4 memory cards that I had lost if there was a problem with that card. So something which I really recommend doing if for some reason you have only got the ability to utilise 1 card slot at a time. Okay, so moving past the actual camera itself, you finish shooting your event and you're back at your laptop. Well, the first thing that I would do is literally then and there at the event, before you leave the site or wherever you are, back up your memory cards to your laptop. You can do it onto your laptop itself. Another great way of doing it is to get yourself some of these portable hard drives. I've got these Samsung ones. They're really cheap. They're not massive drives. This one is 500 gigabytes, so not a huge one. But as soon as you finish your photos, you can record all your memory cards onto your laptop and save it on your hard drive. I've then got my hard drive and I've still got the photos on the memory card. So at this stage already, they're in 2 places or even 3 places if you count the fact that I've got them on 2 memory cards in the first place. The other thing that I do is I keep this this hard drive in a little pouch and I keep it away from my actual cameras. So my cameras will be in one of my bags and my hard drive will be in my other bag. Generally with any event, I've got two bags. I've normally got my backpack and my roller case, and just kind of a habit now, I keep the hard drive in a different bag to the two cameras. So again, if for some reason I lost those cameras, maybe that bag got stolen, there might still be a chance that I've still got my hard drive. Okay, moving on from there. This also extends when you get back home or you get back to your office. I've got, you probably can't see it because it's in the dark, but behind me, I have one of those big like desktop hard drives. Now I use that hard drive as kind of my working hard drive, but every time I've got a finished project, I will also save it onto one of these portable drives so that when I'm still in that kind of working phase, I've got my project or my photos or my videos saved in two different places at home. That gives me that extra peace of mind, and again, it's just backing up storage. And you kind of see by this stage it's getting a bit redundant, but it's backups on top of backups. But you know what? I would rather do that than have the risk. So that's why it's something that I've always tried to do. Okay, and moving into the last option, and the one that a lot of people will do nowadays, and that is to get yourself some kind of cloud service backup. You can get some of these services relatively cheap now. I actually do mine through Dropbox, but there's loads of different ones. You can do them through like Google, you can do them through Adobe, depending on the subscription you've got. There's loads of different ways that you can do it. But it is not too expensive nowadays to give yourself a really sizable cloud backup. What that enables you to do is then and there, even before you've left the venue where you were shooting, you can record your memory cards onto your computer, and instead of them putting them onto your hard drive, you just put them straight onto your cloud. So you've got them backed up remotely. Now, of course, the beauty of this, and I almost hate saying it because I feel a bit like I'm rubbing salt into a wound for someone like JD, but this is where it could save you in that type of situation. Somehow, you lose all your gear, you get robbed, and your cameras and your hard drive and your laptop and everything is gone. Hopefully you've still got that footage saved in your iCloud remotely, and that's the piece that gives you probably the most peace of mind of all these ideas that I've suggested. Now, there are other things you can do as well. People have these like Drobos and different like setups at home in their home offices. And there's loads of stuff like that you can do if for some reason you don't want to use a cloud or remote service. But I don't really use any of those, which is why I'm not an expert. But maybe you guys who do, you can comment below and let us know about the benefits of those types of systems as well. Hope you guys found this interesting. If you did, do me a favour, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I will see you on the next video.